It's unclear if he was shot or stabbed. His family have said he was knifed in the street, but neighbours also reported hearing a gunshot early this morning.
Central C on his newest album said, "I put up the bread for my broski's funeral. That was the first time booking a hearse. Long live F Dot."
Well, you think I didn't bring it, bro?
So are you with Deshane or what?
I bodied Deshane in season 3.
My guy. Deshane not your dog?
Somehow.
No, I don't work with him.
Central C pays tribute a lot to his friend F Dot. You may see him on a chain on his rings on his profile picture for a long time as well. But what actually happened to him is still unsolved and a dark story, and we're going to get into his story today.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, don't move. Just right there. I'll do the movement.
Real name Fernando Johnson, grew up in Acton, West London. At one point had aspirations to be a professional footballer, actually playing for teams like QPR, and when that wouldn't work, also wanted to be a rapper. Despite coming from a rough area himself, F Dot was involved in community activities and described as a local hero to the kids in his neighbourhood. He worked as an apprentice electrician, indicating he was making effort to have a legitimate source of income alongside his music career. But F Dot became involved with the 12 Anti-Drill Collective that was gaining a lot of recognition on YouTube and had problems with other areas. But he himself on his come up would face legal issues. An article come out saying Shepherd's Bush drill gang sentenced for a violent disorder. It said his gang from Shepherd's Bush had a violent and bloody clash with rivals from Kensington and Chelsea, where they heard members were lurking in territory around the White City estate. Welding knives and swords and metal poles, the disorder resulted in one of the gang members, who was only 16, being stabbed in the back and coming close to death. 6 of 8 gang members faced terms in prison or youth offender institutes, and 2 others were handed 18-month youth rehabilitation orders for the disorder. It was picked up on CCTV. F Dot was only 18 at this time and of no fixed address from the W12 area, was sentenced to a total of 3 years and 4 months imprisonment for violent disorder and conspiracy to commit grievous body harm. He got in trouble because while on remand for the violent disorder, Fernando Johnson, known as F Dot, updated his Instagram with a new drill video dissing the people in that altercation called Statement.
Really trying to do a man not wrong. Realness, it's all getting on long. The hospital keeps on saving these dons. Drillers, we keep it on repeat with no intentions to dead this beat.
This video has almost 200,000 views and is uploaded onto Mixtape Madness still to this day. This situation was getting out of hand to the point that the police had to step in and start handing out CBOs to prevent the rappers bragging about what happened in music. F Dot was from 12 Anti and 1011 was their rivals that it was getting in these situations with. Tried to issue out CBOs on both sides where they couldn't release music dissing each other. The other side, 1011, had released songs dissing F Dot's brother Calvin Johnson, and also another one called No Hook. F Dot's brother was known as Jeezy and they dissed him in their song.
Swim up block settings on violent things. I'm going equipped, heads and whips, hands on hips. If Jeezy tripped, then he would have been pissed. If Jeezy tripped, then he would have got dipped. Creeps tried to draw me out when I was locked in jails. He fucking dumb. How can his brethren shoot up his yard?
Things were getting so out of hand, gang members were filming grandmothers of other members and threatening them on Snapchat. But at the start of his music video, you see the classic that they're not referring to anyone or any real life events, a disclaimer. I'm not sure if lawyers are telling these rappers to do it, but it never seems to work because the police always refer to it when given the press the update on the case.
What, my brother?
My fucking
By the time F Dot had come out of prison, Central C from 12 Anti, his area, and Digga D were really rising in the music game, taking over the drill scene. And it seemed he took a swipe that was being previewed at Digga D about his eye and him getting stabbed in jail, which apparently was nothing to do with them.
No good guys that do street shit, but keep it secret. Tell me how you talk that smoke when you got no eye and anemic. When I said I do it strategically, there's no time scale on the GBG. Won't claim that drill like PPE.
Digga D would later have an unreleased freestyle where he said Ops claimed that they did something to his eye, but it was just a random guy in jail, that situation. In the same freestyle, Digga D dissed Central C, saying, "Don't compare me to Central C, just stood there and watched when we chinged his brother. I went jail for that little fucker, I still came home to the nicest supper."
Move that pack in the trap, repeat it. 3 all my guys in the can and media. 3 wanna know what I do for a living, I told them a trap star, keep it a secret.
This guy ain't someone that just jumped on music because his friend was doing well. There's tracks on YouTube from 6 years ago. Obviously, he went to prison and was taking it more seriously as well when he come out.
See the gang in a cup, bear man and stolen whips, you get my drift. 2 Rambos on my side with no case, cutting my hip, you better run quick. If you trip up, you're pissed. R.I.P. that's it. Don't lack, don't slip.
At this point, F Thought was starting to pursue his own music career by putting out videos, but mainly around Central C as well, who was blowing up at a crazy rate, becoming the UK's biggest rapper. There is actually a clip where F Thought is saying Central C is one to watch out for. He really believed in Central C before he blew up. But his career, I think, has had a lot of damage from that CBO order and stuff getting removed. He's released a couple of tracks, had done a couple 100,000 views, but we didn't get to see his full potential in music, for sure. Like, this video here is on 300,000 plus views and has been re-uploaded, so it would have done serious numbers, and there was numerous people him and his friend had dissed in this song, obviously when they wasn't meant to be.
It's unclear if he was shot or stabbed. His family have said he was knifed in the street, but neighbours also reported hearing a gunshot early this morning. That's his car where he was, and you can see forensics have been at work, walking in and out. There's police officers on this street. Just show you down here as well. You can see medical kit there. There's medical bags on the pavement, suggesting that's where he received treatment from the London ambulance service once they arrived on the scene just after 2:15. We're next to a busy road, so I apologise if you can't see me. I'll just zoom in again. As you can see forensics at work behind the car, which is still under the tent. The tent normally signifies where fatality has occurred, but we know that Fernando's now been removed and has gone for a post-mortem, so investigators are going to be working around the clock.
January 26, 2023, an article come out saying a musician was killed in an ambush just yards from his home in West London in the early hours of this morning. Fernando Johnson, 23, was attacked getting out of his car in Acton near the busy A40 at about 2:15 AM in the morning. The Metropolitan Police officers rushed to Rosebank Way to his aid after reports of a man with significant injuries. Emergency services also tried to save Mr. Johnson's life. F. Dot was declared dead at the scene. His family paid tribute to the trainee electrician, is what the article had said, and aspiring rapper whose stage name was F. Dot, and his cousin had told the Evening Standard that 2 people had jumped him and knifed him as he got out of his car. This is a graphic incident, and it's crazy that he lived on the road where he was stabbed and he had just popped out, they had said. They were said in this article, this isn't gang related as far as we know. He was doing well with his music and going places. He was going to be a big name. He was so positive and a lovely person. He had 2 brothers and no one could believe it. A family statement issued by cousin described Mr. Johnson as a loving family man who was passionate about achieving his ambitions. He was greatly loved by family and friends and well known to everyone in the community. He always had a smile on his face and greeted everyone with a big smile and a hug, it read. F. Dot's brother had responded first. He had caught a case with. He was devastated, saying, "Bro, this morning I woke up and started crying, and me and you both know I never cry. All I kept thinking about is you. Bro, F's, I'm literally heartbroken. Bro, you leaving me effed up differently. I don't know how to feel. I don't even know what to say. Seeing you laying on the floor was one of the worst feelings a brother can see. I feel so lost without words, cannot describe how I feel. Mentally and physically drained, lost and upset and depressed. And all I can say is I love you, ABD. You will never be forgotten." Central C put up a Snapchat post saying, "You wanted to be like me and I wanted to be like you." According to the police reports, 2 men ambushed him as he got out of his BMW and he was stabbed multiple times and pronounced dead at the scene, and one of the attackers were described as wearing a grey hoodie and blue jeans and the other in a dark coloured tracksuit. So the investigation was away by the Metropolitan Police. It was a murder investigation with initial arrest made of 2 men in their 20s just shortly after the murder. These individuals were later released on bail and the police conducted extensive CCTV searches and forensic examinations at the scene. but had been cautious about linking the murder directly to gang-related activities, although that had been a topic of speculation among community and online. But shortly after, their men were released, and an investigation carried on ongoing, and the police were actually appealing for anyone to help with this investigation. It was an unsolved case. Central C's done his best to try and tribute his friend and continue his legacy. He has got a tattoo saying RIP F Dot and put him on chains as well, like a lot of rappers do.
RIP F Dot. My brother, man. Done it twice. And the chains. And the rings. Ooh. RIP F Dot. Mad. 23, 24 years old from West London. Absolutely destroyed the game. The best work with the best. You hear that? Hey, Jewelers, baby. Check out the heart shapes and the bezels. And this is the greatest memorial pendants you're going to see in the world.
Huge.
Facts.
What about that card? Is that it?
Yes, is that loop changeable? As in, can you open it from the back? Or does it have to, the chain have to go all the way through? Why?
An article come out in the Daily Mail saying Central C reveals how he deals with survivor's guilt after his pal Fernando Johnson was murdered in an ambush at 23 years old, as he reflects on his grief. When asked if he found a way to make inner peace of what happened, the rapper said, "Nah, I just don't really think about it, innit?" Before adding, "It's not the best way of dealing with it." He added, "A way of dealing with it actually is, I think, very far ahead and do as much as I can to help the people around me to prevent that feeling ever happening again, so we're all surviving, innit?" A post-mortem examination actually found that F Dot had died of a gunshot wound. So yeah, this has actually turned into an unsolved case, and they just put out appeals. No updates to come out online at all to say anyone new was arrested for this situation. It was literally just him being shot, the people making off, and them appealing to try and find out information, arresting people and letting them go, but nothing come of it. When you get to the level that Sench has, it's good to have your day ones around you, and F Dot really believed in him. You see the old video, and also when he dropped Doja, he put up one of his only TikTok saying, "I can't lie, bro's a genius, and you will all realize soon." Although it's sad that he could have made it to this point, Toon was definitely inspired seeing Sench get to the top. He did get to see a glimpse of his friend's success, who's trying to continue his legacy.
Bro! Right, bro! Yeah!
I can't hear nothing when you in.
Scary. Where's that? Big up,
Of course, people say that F Dot was associated with gangs, but many people say how much of a nice and humble guy he was behind closed doors. Like, a TikToker was getting a lot of backlash, and he reached out on private DMs to send his support.
Started the year when F Dot died, 26th for Jan, I lost my kinfolk. Cam told me that he died and I replied, huh? I hope that he's saying it's a typo, okay?
Dealing with the loss of your close friend, like when you're in the midst of like stardom, it's like it must bring everything down a bit in your camp. Shout out to F Dot as well. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I was friends with him or anything, but the week before, like I think like the week before he passed away, I just dropped my song No Love Lost, Gary song, and like I was getting influx of hate, whatever. I was cool, just going about my normal stuff, but he actually messaged me and he was just like, "Bro, don't even watch that, keep up the good work." And yeah, man, when I seen like the next week that he passed, I was like, "Bro, like, what is going on?" Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, like him even doing that, him even like hitting me up when there's no reason to do that, shows that I feel like there was probably a lot of good energy in Sench's.
Central C hasn't really been open and vulnerable and done any podcasts or interviews to deeply speak about the situation. The main thing he did was do a Glastonbury tribute where he played a video at the start talking about the situation and how it affected him. How many times have we seen young men in the UK with lots of talent and potential have their life taken too quickly, and others end up doing the opposite and going to prison for life, and it is never worth it. This guy had serious talent and now is no longer with us.
It's slightly righteous to go, I'm right even though I know I shouldn't. Dogs in the kitchen play with magic, I tried it but I couldn't. Stop that asco, keep my hand in the pot like I'm whipping a pudding. Double and triple it, I ain't admitting it, the cat's still digging it though. He bites it, I'm still hitting it, live with it, no I ain't letting him know. Cool man swinging it, danger's imminent, try and dip man no imminent. immigrant. She thinks I'm innocent, face is cute. If only she knew I'm a diligent dude. I still get mad.
How you feeling, my bro?
I'm on my bed. I don't trust these girls. I go home. I don't trust them.
How you feeling, cuz?
Come on, buddy. Come on.
Nah, brother. What's the one them telling me?
Outside.
Yeah, outside.
CZ,